The plan is ready. The mine entrance is open. The God Killer truck is fueled. The Pearl is secured. The weapon is confirmed to work. Every piece of Project God Killer is in place, and the final push is one mission away. And the Commandos are delivering supplies to a church. That is what Deliver Us is. The second to last mission in the entire campaign. The moment before humanity's last chance at stopping an ancient god, and instead of gearing up and charging toward the mine, 4 mercenaries are carefully driving fragile supplies through the infected zone to make sure one woman and her survivor can get out safely before the chaos starts. It sounds anticlimactic on paper. It is not, because Deliver Us is where the story stops being about the plan and starts being about the people. And understanding who Gallagher is, why her getting out matters enough to stop everything for, and what the mission is really saying underneath the supply deliveries and the defense phases, makes this one of the most quietly powerful moments in the whole campaign. Let us start with why this mission exists at all. The Commandos have everything they need. The mine is open. They could theoretically just go, drive the God Killer truck down into the drill site, activate the Pearl, end this. But Gallagher refuses to stay at the church while the final push happens. Not because she is being difficult, because staying at St. Goddard's church while the God Killer truck fires a weapon designed to destroy an ancient entity's source point in a mine nearby is not a survivable position. The infected zone is going to respond to what happens in that mine in ways that nobody can fully predict. The corruption will shift, the Homo Mortis will react, the area around the mine will become the most dangerous place in the infected zone. At the exact moment the weapon fires, Gallagher knows this. She has been inside the quarantine zone long enough to understand how the infected zone works, long enough to know that being close to ground zero when Project God Killer executes is not something she and her survivor walk away from, so she is not asking for permission to leave. She is telling the Commandos that she is leaving and that she needs their help to do it safely before they go anywhere near that mine, and the Commandos stop everything to help her. With the fate of the world genuinely on the line, with the mine entrance open for the first time since the Sludge God sealed it, with Leon waiting for the final push to begin, the Commandos deliver supplies to a church because Gallagher asks, think about what that says about the relationship that has developed between these 4 people and the woman they found holding survivors together at St. Goddard's church. Back at the very beginning of the campaign, they did not know her then. She was just a survivor. Someone in the wrong place when the wall went up. Someone holding on in a building that should not still be standing. But across every mission since that first visit to the church, Gallagher has been there, running the operation, keeping the location intact. Being the person who held the one piece of ground in the infected zone that consistently mattered to Leon's plan. And now when she says she needs to get out before the end, the Commandos do not hesitate. They just go get what she needs, not because it was the smart tactical move, not because Leon ordered it, because Gallagher asked. And somewhere between the Church of the Damned and this moment that became enough of a reason, that is loyalty. And in the middle of an apocalypse caused by one man, ignoring every warning he ever received, 4 people stopping everything to help one woman get out safely is the most human thing this story does. Now here's the detail about Deliver Us that connects everything. Gallagher needs 2 things delivered to the church. A truck with anti-sludge equipment and an ambulance for emergency transport. The anti-sludge equipment makes sense. Getting out of the infected zone safely requires protection from the corruption that covers every road between the church and the wall. The same technology that has kept the Commandos alive during the most heavily saturated missions is what Gallagher needs to get her survivor out. But the ambulance, an ambulance specifically. Not just any vehicle, not just something that moves fast or has good armor. An ambulance for urgent transport needs. Gallagher's survivor needs medical transport, which means whoever is at that church with her is not in good shape, has not been in good shape for a while. Has been surviving inside the infected zone with whatever medical resources Gallagher could scrape together from the surrounding area. Whatever condition Gallagher's survivor is in, they have been in it for a while. Kept alive inside the infected zone with whatever medical resources were available in the surrounding area. Whatever Gallagher could find and bring back to the church across months of holding that location together. They made it this far. The ambulance is how they make it the rest of the way. The supplies are fragile. The game is very specific about this. The truck with the anti-sludge equipment and the ambulance cannot take heavy damage on the way to the church. The Commandos have to drive carefully, plan their routes around blocked roads, then navigate through an infected zone that is actively trying to stop them from completing the delivery. And that fragility is interesting from a lore perspective. Everything in the infected zone fights back. Every piece of equipment the Commandos try to move, every objective they try to complete gets waves attached to it. The infected zone throws bodies at anything that threatens the plan. But these deliveries are especially vulnerable because they cannot be replaced. If the God Killer truck takes damage, the Commandos can repair it. If Leon's equipment gets damaged, there are workarounds. But the anti-sludge truck and the ambulance, if those get destroyed, Gallagher and her survivor do not make it out. The mission is not just about completing an objective before the finale. It is about making sure that when the final push happens and the infected zone responds the way it always responds to threats, the people who cannot fight their way through that response are already somewhere safe. Getting the fuel from the church triggers the attack. The moment the Commandos pick up the fuel, Leon needs to finish arming the weapon. The infected zone responds, zombies converging on the church from every direction. A horde unlike anything the church has faced since the Commandos first showed up. Which tells you something about what picking up that fuel means to the infected zone. The fuel completes Leon's weapon, and the corruption responds to that completion the way it has responded to every other piece of Project God Killer coming together. The same way it responded to the God Killer truck being freed, the same way it responded to the Pearl being retrieved, the same way it threw everything at the mine entrance when the EMP cleared the path. The infected zone does not think, but it responds, and what it responds to is the plan getting closer to execution. Picking up the fuel is the last piece, and the infected zone knows it. The Commandos defend the church gates 1 minute to prepare. Then the horde breaks through, and they have to fall back to the church balcony defending the doors, keeping the infected from reaching Gallagher and her survivor, while Leon makes his way to the location. And here's the detail about this defense phase that separates it from every other one in the game. The Commandos are not defending equipment, they are not protecting a process or a transmission or an analysis. They are standing between a horde of Homo Mortis and the two people inside the church. Every previous defense phase was about the plan. This one is about the people. And as the doors start to break under the pressure, as the final 20 seconds hit and the wave intensifies to a level that feels impossible, Leon arrives, and the story does something that the whole campaign has been building toward quietly. Leon comes to help, not sending the Commandos somewhere, not directing from his base, actually arriving, coming to the church himself, to help get Gallagher out, the man who caused all of this. The showing up in person when the people caught in the consequences of his decisions need him most. There is a moment back at the Church of the Damned that is easy to forget by this point in the campaign. When the Commandos first arrived, Gallagher came out and saw them. She saw the infection, she saw the devices Leon gave them to harness the sludge energy. She knew immediately what they were and what it meant, and she trusted them anyway, because they helped her people. That moment established something quiet between 4 infected mercenaries and the woman running the one location in the infected zone worth defending. It was not stated explicitly, it just happened. The Commandos helped. Gallagher let them in, deliver us is the other end of that moment. The Commandos coming back. Not because Leon told them to, not because it was the most efficient path to completing Project God Killer, but because when Gallagher said she needed help getting out, they went and got what she needed without a second thought. And then there is the name, Deliver Us. On the surface, it is about the deliveries, the anti-sludge truck, the ambulance, the fuel, delivering the supplies that allow Gallagher to evacuate. But Deliver Us in a broader sense is a plea, a prayer, the kind of language you use when you're asking to be saved from something, when the situation is beyond what you can handle alone, and you need something outside yourself to intervene. The church is called St. Godard's Church. It has been a place of protection throughout the whole campaign. The building that resisted the sludge when everything around it was consumed, a location that held against the Sludge God's corruption mission after mission. And the mission where the survivors of that church finally get to leave is called Deliver Us. Not extract, not evacuate, not escape, deliver us. Like a prayer answered, like the thing the people in that church have been waiting for since the wall went up and the infected zone swallowed everything around them. Someone came, someone delivered them. Gallagher and her survivor get out. The church that has been standing against the sludge since before the outbreak, since before the Obsidian group, since back when the people who built it understood what was sleeping beneath the earth and put something there to resist it, goes quiet. Its purpose fulfilled. The people it was protecting are safe. The ground it was defending for generations has done what it was built to do. Whatever ancient force built the corruption up against those walls across months of trying to claim the location did not get it. The church held, and the Commandos turned toward the mine. Everything is ready. Everyone who needed to get out is out. The plan is complete. The path is clear. The next mission is the last one. That is Deliver Us. The mission that stopped everything for the people who mattered before the war ended. Next map we are covering the pit, the final descent, the God Killer truck going down, the Pearl activating, Leon driving into the dark, and whatever comes out of the mine when the weapon fires. Subscribe so you do not miss it. And drop a comment. Do you think Gallagher knew the whole time that the Commandos were going to come back for her? Because the way she ran that church, the way she held that location, it never felt like someone just surviving. It felt like someone waiting for the right moment to leave. Tell me what you think.